Okay, I'm starting this video a second time because I had to go back and make sure that I wasn't muted because I didn't want to go through all that rigmarole again of having to go back and watch certain shows. Let's just say that much. Um, so today we are going to be reviewing a series that I think just recently got posted in Netflix. I could be wrong. I don't know. Or they've been on Netflix for a while and I just recently came upon them just based off maybe my recommended because I just go all over the place with how I view stuff. So yeah, my recommended changes all the time because I go from foreign stuff to comedy to action to horror stuff. It never, my Netflix list is just nuts. And then I switch over to certain other platforms and my list goes, yeah, it's just all over the place. No matter what streaming service I'm on, it seems to be all over the place. So today we are going to be reviewing a movie called After, which came out in 2019, I think. Yeah, which is basically, I would say, kind of your like basic. I don't want to say teeny Bob drama because it's not. They're both in college, I guess. At this point, the two of them, I think one's a freshman and one's a senior, or maybe they're both freshmen. I can't quite remember. Maybe they were both freshmen when they fell in love. In the first one, anyway. So this is starring Josephine Langford, Hero Finis Tiffin, Dylan Arnold, Kajita Red Thunder. Oh, these names are just crazy. Who else was in this? Shane Paul McGee, Samuel Larson, Anaya Sparks. Hold on. Oh yeah, I guess that must have been her mother, Selma Blair. Who else? I think that's pretty much. Oh no, I guess Peter Gallagher played Chancellor Ken Scott. And yeah, I guess that was pretty well the main cast, I would say. I can't remember who Jace was. Oh. So, in this one, she goes off to college with her. Well, I guess she's trying to become an English major, but she ends up getting more into the publishing side of things, I do believe, as the story kind of goes on. And there was some other degree that you could go for that would kind of take you down the same path, but probably would lead to the more money side of things, I guess. Then obviously, she meets Hardin Scott. This Tessa Young girl meets Hardin Scott, and they do this game of truth or dare, and then he kisses her in the upstairs later on, and she can't stop thinking about him, sort of thing, and he just seems to be everywhere she is, and they end up obviously doing something they shouldn't have when she was still with her other boyfriend, Noah, from back home, and then her mother thinks that she's ruining her life, and her mother is a very stern parent, let's just say that much. She kind of involves herself a little bit too much, I think, based on probably most people's age of going to college would probably be between the ages of like, I don't know, I would say most people probably don't start college right away. They probably wait a couple years, so like 20 maybe. I would probably say would be the age that this girl was. Maybe they were supposed to be like still teenagers. I'm not really sure. But I believe she's younger than Hardin. And we find out later on in the film that I guess this whole thing was basically just based off the Truth or Dare game because I guess Hardin doesn't get denied what he wants. So he kind of goes along and plays the long haul game, saying that he can make anybody fall in love with him. And once he gets this girl to fall in love with him, I guess he'll just turn off his charm or whatever he considers it. Which ends up kind of backfiring on him because he does end up actually falling for. He does actually end up falling for Tessa, and it ends up, you know, messing with both of them, obviously, because it's just yeah, just the relationship is just purely toxic right from the beginning, I would say, because um, he obviously has a lot of problems and doesn't want to talk about them throughout the film and doesn't really want to open up, and they just kind of seem to, once the relationship really gets going, they kind of seem to just make up by having sex all the time, which isn't healthy because that will not keep a relationship together. um, it just, yeah, it just won't work. And then I guess Hardin has some serious issues with his father, who used to be an alcoholic and basically abandoned the family, and um, yeah, abandoned the family, and then kind of became successful in his own way, I guess, and doesn't really seem to care, or at least that's what Hardin thinks. So Hardin drinks all the time because of it. So that's another issue with him. And when he drinks, he gets angry, and that's also another red flag as far as I'm concerned in a relationship. Like if you're constantly just using substances to, escape, it probably isn't going to work out. You have some things to work on. There's nothing wrong with drinking, but if you're using it to, in that sense, I guess speaking a little bit from experience, it's probably not a healthy, yeah, it's definitely not a healthy coping mechanism, that's for sure. um, so yeah, just don't use it in that sense, I would say, especially when it's about past traumas. Like, find a different outlet. There's plenty of other things you could do. Like kind of what I'm doing, like the reviewing of movies and food and so on and so forth. The video games is another great escape because you can be anybody you want to be really in video games. Uh, find some comedy shows if you're into that. Like stand-up shows, I find just having a laugh is extremely good for you. Yeah, so those are all kind of different coping mechanisms I can think of other than substances, right? Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, so he drinks because of his father, and his father has connections with this publishing company that he's going to get Tessa into, and that's kind of basically the plot point of the film. And they obviously have their little back and forth, and then I don't remember if she talks about going to Seattle in this movie or not, but I don't know how many freaking times he decides that he's going to break up with her because of his issues, and he seems to just run away when things get tough every time. So it's kind of unfortunate for Tessa because she's in love with him now, and it just seems that every time there's an issue, he just kind of walks away from the situation based on his, I guess, personality and the fact that he won't kind of let her in and tell her everything. Like, holding stuff in is never healthy either, so for him, he should know that he needs help. Uh, but I guess kind of as the film goes on, he does kind of say that he's not good for her in a sense. Um, Maybe not so much in the first one as the continuing films, where he kind of starts to realize that maybe he's not the best person in the world. But I guess that kind of is what it was for this film. And I can't believe there was four of them, to be completely honest, and possibly even a fifth one now that I've watched all four of them. So it just seems kind of crazy that that's going to be the case. But anyhow, I think that's pretty much it for this review, because the first movie was kind of just like the intro to all these characters, really, and kind of like the riffs they put between certain characters, and the fact that she had to go apologize to Noah and her mom, and then her mom, um, there was something with her mom. I think it was in this movie, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, her and her mom end up not getting along at all, really, throughout most of the movies. I mean, she does go to her mom for some advice, but other than that, I would say that there are no really healthy relationships in these movies between parents, kids, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends. Like, it all just kind of seems like a very toxic environment to be in. And the more he does, the more his kind of past is revealed throughout the movie series, and it just gets way worse. But we'll get into that as we review the other three. And I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now. Right, I forgot to give a rating on the movie, so I'll just put this little snippet at the end again. So I gave the first one a 6 out of 10, just because I figured the movie series would probably be improving throughout anyway, which seems to be the case with movies like this. So yeah, now I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.